day will be on approaching open-ended DS problems. Without further ado, let's get started. After a brilliant session on random forest yesterday, I'm eager like you all of you for yet another power-packed session from our dear resource person, Dr. Lakshmi. I would like to request Dr. Lakshmi to take over the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for your welcome note. I extend my hearty welcome to each and every one of you for the day 3 session. The session itself, I would like to start with a question. May I know who is this person from you all? Say answer. Who is this person? May I know from you all? Yeah, very good. Good one, Rasam. Thank you, Gopi Krishnan sir. See, this is the Jupyter Notebook. Hope so you would be knowing this Jupyter Notebook. This Jupyter Notebook is one of the IDE to work with Python coding. So this is compatible with Kaggle. Kaggle platform has its own IDE platform. We can code all the machine learning, deep learning practices. That is a cloud platform. The next is Google Colaboratory. Both are Google's product. These two products, when we want to give annotation, we need to go here. We need to either we can choose it as a markdown or heading. It is depending upon our choice. If I choose this as heading, it will look like Kaggle Google Colab. It is suitable with those two because this is the Jupyter Notebook IPYNB started. This Jupyter stands for Julia, Python, and another R language, and there are few more language supports. I'm not sure about other languages right now. So this supports all the other languages. If you see my notebook, I can even open a new file. I can open new notebook. I have installed Julia also integrated. Near future for the deep learning, machine learning, it is predicted by the industry, not by myself. Julia is going to rule. In the julia.org, that website itself, you can start reading that. Since Python is popular recent days, it is going up for machine learning and deep learning. Why? Because the Julia is, it is lightweight compiler. The execution speed of all the operations are 5x or 8x time much better than Python. So that's the reason people are going to prefer in near future. I'm not sure how the trend it would go. So always it is better to use, it is my suggestion, even I cannot assure anything. So IPYNB, this extension, because it is compatible with the Kaggle platform, Google Colaboratory. And another small note or a suggestion I would like to give, any moment if you are doing deep learning projects, it's advisable better not to do your normal CPU based processor. If we have TPU or a GPU based processor, it's well and good. It has 1000 flops per minute. So our circuit or our hardware may not be able to cope up for the execution or the capacity. So that's the reason always it is advised not to use this particular platform, particular laptop, especially CPU based laptop. These are all the few tips I would like to give. This, hope so many of you may be aware of this platform. What is Jupyter Notebook? That's all. Kaggle is a platform wherein which we can find plenty of data set along with the code, along with explanation. Kaggle is my guru for learning machine learning or deep learning, I can say. So this Kaggle has another opportunity. It will be launching lot of competitions, cash priced competitions. Several hackathons will come. Knowledge based competitions are there, price based competitions are there. This Kaggle is meant for price based competition. So this is the introduction I wanted to give. Several competitions keep going every day. If you watch and you can register, you can form a team, then you can win the game or win the prize. So this is the introduction. Now let us go. So the best way to learn, the reliable resource, even recently I have read one of the paper from Wiley publication. They have written how the machine learning field is deteriorating by the people articulation or the way of writing or presentation. It is going in different directions, paradigms. What are the pitfalls or flaws in publications? So how people are rightly interpreting and publishing, so that kind of things are happening. So in order to avoid those all, we can refer all the material, anything which we feel good, but always to start with this skykitlearn.org. So this python.org is also available. So those are all the source, the originator, the note given by the contributor themselves. So those all the reliable web pages we need to rely on. Yes, skykit-learn is a hero of entire machine learning. So without skykit-learn, we can't do any machine learning. Whatever the theory we are discussing for hours together, it does in single line. But behind the screen, it has plenty of code. Every particular execution has thousands and thousands of lines. So this is the URL. I'll be sharing this notebook, nothing to worry. Now, today's the notebook. I wanted to, however, the theory is incomplete, let it be. I wanted to walk through today with the coding for the random forest, which I have published in the conference. 9th, I am having presentation on this particular notebook or this publication, so that I am good enough to walk through with you. So this is the data repository. The moment we dive into machine learning field, we would be wondering for data. So how I can go about, what are all the different data sets I can try? How can I do the comparative study of all the machine learning algorithm applying on different data sets? So something like that you will be thinking. So this is one of the repository, UCI machine learning repository. This is one of the university. So this university created this platform in order to gather the data set. I will be showcasing tomorrow also. I do have sessions. So by the time the end note, I'll be giving you minimum 50 data repository platforms, minimum 50. Big data, name it big data or IoT data, what data you want, finance data. I have the list of data repositories that I will be giving you tomorrow as a token of what to say, the takeaway from this workshop. So next, now this is good of some. This is what I wanted to give here, but now I tell you Jupyter Notebook, how you can include this kind of images. Nowadays, most of the facilitators, they don't teach theory separate or notebook separate. All in one, they will be plugging in. I wanted to adapt that style, but it would take a lot of time to plug in all the theory here, and it would become very lengthier also. I don't want, because while executing coding, it will be a disturbance for me. So it is a normal HTML code. Whenever we want to bring images on the website, what we do, the same code only, that is nothing more. But we need to, after writing that HTML code, we need to click this as a markdown. Markdown, always it will be treated as a annotation part or text part. Heading will be like this, thicker. If it is coding, it will execute. If it is text, just it will leave the text. So this is how. Then shift and enter, we need to press for execution. So that one note I wanted to tell. Then subsequent to that, if you wish, I can show the data sheet Excel, otherwise not required, because we have a lot of commands to see what kind of data we have in the Excel sheet after reading. That's all. So let us start with how to do a project or Python based machine learning project. So in order to do Python based machine learning project, if at all we are using Jupyter Notebook, we don't have any issues. The necessary packages we can include at any moment. NumPy is one of the package. It is useful for numerical operation. Command line always starts with hash. This is meant for numerical, or I can say linear algebra. All the linear algebra, matrix algebra, these are all the algebra calculations are possible with NumPy. Pandas, this is for data manipulation. If we want to read structured data, JSON, XML, SQL, CSV, text file, and Excel file. These are all the types of data or different formats of data. If you want to read those data, unless otherwise the data is read, it is not possible to work on the data, even a small exploration or great exploration. So for that, Pandas is a package useful. This is optional, choice is yours. Import warnings. What is package? Already hope so you all would be knowing. Package is a kind of header file. When we start learning C language, we start reading that header file. The concept is same here, extended, but the terminology becomes package. That is the only difference. Why people are creating packages? Why people are creating packages? Yeah, we can even announce who is unmuting and speaking. Uh, so it creates a lot of disturbance for others also. So we need to maintain the certain decorums because it's a professional. Yeah, this pandas is helpful for reading the data. And yeah, why this package? The meaning of package is the minimal capacity of the language is brought to the, that is compiler we used to say, brought to the computer. Rest all the functionalities are kept in the hard disk. As and when it is required, the functionalities required by the programmer, they need to learn about all the availability of packages. They need to bring the appropriate package for their need and suitability. So that is a freedom they have given. However, it is a freedom. It is another way we all should be aware of several packages. Every day Python is coming up with the different packages. Tomorrow I will show one more excitement. So the latest package with a lot of excitement I will show. So this is one of the package warnings. Because we are all working with the CPU, the entire capacity of Python cannot be brought into the RAM memory at a time. Not at all possible. GPU, TPU based processor only can able to hold the capacity of Python. That is the reason it is available in terms of packages. Unnecessarily, no need to bring the entire compiler. What is required, we are bringing. For that, the command used are either import version or from and import. There are two different ways available to import the packages. Next is warnings. Any warning, if it gives, it used to give um, it used to give lot of messages. That warning will become half of the page, that Jupyter notebook. Normally the tendency of programmer, we don't bother about warnings, we just ignore. So that's the reason I'm giving import warnings package, and I'm giving the command filter warnings ignore. I don't want warnings from you. That is a message. Next, this is, yeah, annotation. If you give annotation, you can make it as a markdown. That's all. Next, let me execute so that I can keep. Then until the star settles down, it will be converted into numerical value. Till then we need to wait. So very first time today, the first time I'm opening the notebook, that's why it is delayed. If at all I'm continuously doing, not this much delay. That's all. The version of bringing the command. When we need to use this command, you may be having puzzle, you may be puzzled. The entire package you want to bring it, then you can use import numpy. What is as np? This is alias name. What is alias name? At home, people may be calling me with nicknames or pet names. At official forum, they are calling me Lakshmi. So this is kind of alias name. Both are interchangeable. See why this alias name concept they have brought. Whenever, if you look at the package, there are packages will have the largest naming convention, so that that nomenclature would be very larger. So when we reuse it, when we type, it will be difficult for us, especially lazy person like me. So that they are permitting us to create alias name. This can be anything. You can use np, n, a, b, c, d, x, y, z. Your name, choice is yours. So this is the way. Now after giving alias name also, it gives us permission to use the package name or alias name, either way. Although it is given the freedom alias name to keep anything across a globe. The moment I started learning Python, maybe 3 years ago only I started. So that 3 years ago when I started, np is a syntax, I thought I won't change. Then casually one day I started changing this by spelling mistake, then it works well. Then only I learned. So this is alias name. because of the copy paste culture, I can say from the python.org, the syntax will be copy pasted because every syntax will become very larger, bulky in size. So that this tendency has come. As NP only people will use, as PD only people will use. It looks like syntax, but it is not syntax. Next, when we should use from. From can be used whenever we are in need of sub packages, sub part. In the entire package, we are expecting very minimal portion. So sklearn model underscore selection. What is this? This model underscore selection helps for selecting the type of the model for training splitting. Actually, the syllabus here given for me is this only. We need to touch upon EDA, exploratory data analysis, in which we need to know splitting row and columns. And this is one method, splitting row and splitting columns. So there are two different ways need to be handled. Finally, we need to have 4 variables from the data set. Only then it can work. What are that 4 variables? X train, X test, Y train, Y test. What it is, I'll tell. We will be giving or reading the complete file to the notebook. Or 25,000 records or 1 lakh records also. That is a different thing. The records are rows. Columns can be 5 columns to 500 columns, as I mentioned yesterday. Now, after cleaning unnecessary data set removal, either you may throw rows or you may throw columns. That has a lot of science and art. That let us keep it as apart. Finally, while building the model, name it linear regression, name it logistic regression, support vector machine, any model, whether supervised learning or unsupervised learning, whatever we are trying, then we need to split the data. Especially supervised learning, we need to split it into 4 different parameters. What is this? X train, X test. This is training data inclusive of independent and dependent variable. Dependent and independent. What is, while speaking, I cannot able to write independent. That's all. What is independent variable? All the X variables. What is dependent variable? All the Y variable, not all, only one Y variable, one at a time only we can consider. Only one variable, predictive, that what we want to predict. Response. These are all predictive variable. Lot of names are there. These are all independent variable and predictive variable and X variables. This is Y variable. Then what it is? This is unseen data. Unseen data or test data. So we will be testing our model. Anyone we teach, even while teaching also we'll teach and we'll be testing our students immediately. Only then confirmation whether things are going right or wrong. Similarly, here also after training, testing should happen. That is the ultimate purpose of machine learning. This also test data. Also, we need to decompose it into 2 different categories. But here, dependent variable, we don't have any values. We should not give values also. Even if you have also, you should not give. This should become empty. Machine need to predict. That's all. It will be fully empty. That variable, or we will initialize with 0, anything we can do, but we don't give information to the machine. It is like what is there in my hand, so what I am holding, try to predict. I'm asking you question, you can predict nothing is there, you have pen also, you can say anything. So it's like that. We are asking the machine to give me what is there in it. So it is these 4 components are essential for building any model. Supervised learning, especially supervised learning, numerical prediction or whatever. So that for that performance, it is carried out. We no need to do manually. Automatically it can be done. So that is done by train test split. This is available under one more sub package called sklearn.model_selection. That's it. Now let us execute this. recovered machine learning models. Now only we are trying to tell what model I want to use. I want to build on the data. Here I am telling sklearn.ensemble model I want. There are several ensemble model. As I mentioned yesterday, boosting, all the types of boosting, light gradient boosting, ADA boosting, extended gradient, extra gradient boosting, cat boosting. There are 5 boosting. To my knowledge, it is available. I'm not sure. I'm not complete versatile with machine learning. So these are all the 5 boosting techniques available. So among those all, random forest is one of the boosting, means ensemble algorithm. 6 ensemble algorithms. Ensemble algorithms are more popular, widely popular, successful models than all other models. So random forest classifier I want, so that I am telling to the Jupyter notebook or this Python compiler what I want. Interpreter, Python is an interpreter. So random forest compiler I want, I said. Now that's fine. Now look at the sequence of packages, what I am doing, what operation I want, reading the file. First I read the file, what operations I want to do. Subsequently, what is the way I'm going to split the data set. Subsequently, how we are going to build the model, which model we are using. You can use zigzag also, there is no problem. Since I'm training, I need to give in this structured format. Beyond that, we no need to mention all the packages right in the beginning. It can be given anywhere, any part. So as and when required also we can give, but we are tend to look things with prerequisite, what is required for our duty. That is how we are all groomed, so that we are bringing everything. Next, yes, I have built the model. Then I need to validate my model. No, yesterday I said model validation. Even while cooking, we will be tasting. That is called validation. After cooking, we will have sip of confirmation whether it suits well. Then only we will release any product, name it mechanical, car manufacturing or electronics manufacturing, they will be doing validation test. Otherwise, they cannot release those product into the commercial market. So it is like that. We need to validate our model. In order to validate, sklearn import metrics. This is the package we are bringing. Sub package. sklearn is a hero of entire machine learning asset. Then imagine how much bulky it would become. So that sub package, the moment we bring sub package, we need to remember, we need to use from. Just understanding is sufficient, because we are all going to teach to students. Our profession is transferring knowledge, so we should know everything. No need to by heart any command. Copy paste. Till date, I'm copy pasting from the internet, either Kaggle or GitHub or any kind of python.org. These are all the way I am doing. Nothing to learn, nothing to remember. Even industry people during interview, they don't ask you to write the command closing your eyes and all. So you should know the context. Next, sklearn import metrics. Now, what are all the metrics I want? Popular matrices. F1 score. I'll tell you what is F1 score during that execution. Accuracy score. Ultimately, classification is meant for finding accuracy, precision, recall. We all should be aware what matrices we need to use. Beyond that, AUC, ROC, BIC, Akaike information criteria, area under curve, that BIC, that expansion, I don't know. These are all other matrices available, several matrices available for every validation technique. Popular only I'm telling. Among that popularity, widely used are these 4. F1 score, accuracy, precision, recall. When to use, why to use, we should have clarity. That is where theory helps. Coding, nothing. See, this I copied only. Anyone copies only. Nobody sits and by hearts and writes this all. I cannot remember this much. That is what I was telling yesterday coding. You guys so interested for it is X train, Y train. Yeah, you are one. Yeah, here 1 minute. Correct. X train, Y train. It became mistake. Talking and typing. Thank you. X test and Y test. I need to shuffle. Thank you. One participant given the comment. Who is that? Rajkumar sir. Yeah, thank you. Let us go back. Now, these are all the matrices we want for validation. There are several: AIC, BIC, and AUC, ROC. These are all the matrices available. If you wish, I can write down later on. For classification alone, I am telling whatever I know only I am telling. AUC, ROC. So these all almost graphical way of interpretation. I need to change it into markdown or title. That's all. So these are all other validation matrices just for your note. We should be aware at least whether we use it or not. Now I'm going for reading my data. So this is the data set related to breast cancer. So that people have transformed the original image, the medical image, I don't know, CT scan or MRI scan, whatever. That medical image is translated into that form called Excel sheet. Yeah, AAC, BAC. Yeah. What is this, Rajkumar, you are expecting? AAC, BAC. Those are all validation matrices. That is Akaike information criteria. Another one is this also information criteria. B, I'm not sure. A is area under curve. R was receiver operator curve. That's all. These are all other way to validate classification models, validation matrices. Yeah, I written no. Look at here. Other validation matrices. Read it. So I said, now these are all the 4 validation matrices. The other validation matrices are these all. Model validation, you need to claim no. Finally, see, even you write a paper, you are going to approach business problem or consultant, you are participating in a hackathon, you need to project how best your model is. Hackathon competitions are given the prices based on these are all the matrices. They will tell you which matrix you need to use and prove. So in the last hackathon, for me, the given matrices is only F1 score. I need to work on only F1 score. So they will give you what matrices, or else sometimes it will be tricky. They don't specify, they will give the problem statement. We need to pick up the appropriate matrix to prove that our model is much better than all other competitors model. So by the time this model validation matrices only, it will prove your talents. It will say that your performance, your model, your notebook is much better than others. That is called model validation matrix. Hope so you would be understand. This is the end stage after building the model, but I'm bringing all the necessary packages. I'm explaining when to use what package, why I have brought that package. I'm giving you articulation. Now let us go for the data set, importing the data set. This data set, how to read the file, pd read under dot read underscore csv. This is a command to read the file, CSV file. I have kept the data in the downloaded data. I have kept it in data.csv file. This is available in my hard disk in the downloads folder. It is available under this drive. That's all. The path I need to mention. So all the time I will get to know where I am downloading the path. After giving this notebook also, you need to have experience. No, that's why I'm explaining. So tomorrow I will show you how to work with Google Colab, because if you don't have installation facility, you don't know installation, nothing to worry. Directly we can rely on Google Colaboratory. We can work in the Google product. It is available as a part of the Gmail. I'll show you tomorrow, not now. So now this is the path. I will know the path. I will copy paste. And I will see all that. There are several ways to read. Please be careful. Double quotation, single quotation. And one more format is available with the single slash, backward slash, forward slash. All the time we need to use double or single, anything. So don't take lot of pain in this all. Understand one way of reading. Copy paste. Try using that. These are all unnecessary. Where the core our energy should go, we need to learn. It's a vast domain. Nowadays, UG, PG courses coming up with machine learning. In our institution, this year we start. So the syllabus which you see, we will get fainting. So that we need to concentrate on the core part of machine learning. Let me execute this. When I execute header information, I can store it in any variable. This is called data frame. You can use your name also. Normally across the globe, people use DF, stands for data frame. So that Python is helpful for reading the data in any file format, and it will convert it into data frame. It is fixed. Even if you want to read JSON or SQL data, any structured data, if you read, it will be converted into finally data frame. So then I want to know, because we will be suspicious whether really my model means my data is read or not. So for that, df.head. So if I mention here df.10, it will give me 10 rows. See, 0 to 9. Index starts from 0 to extends to 9. If I don't give any number, by default, I will get 5 rows. Similarly, other way, tail is there, df dot tail. That is meant for looking at the last 5 records. Head is to look at the first 5 records. I'll show that also. So from here, what we need to understand, see, what are all available? ID. Please remember, any moment, any data we get, ID never ever it will be helpful for prediction. We need to throw blindly. You can do this step. ID is available, roll number, ID, employee ID, Aadhaar card, these all useless. It won't explain anything for the machine. These all for human interpretation. So ID. Then this is what my Y variable, response variable. This is what I need to predict. Diagnosis. It has two labels, malignant and benign. Malignant is a cancerous tumor. Benign is non-cancerous tumor. The person who has tumor, but the role of doctor is to predict whether the tumor is cancerous type or non-cancerous type. So that is the guidance given by this model. Doctor no need to think a lot. They need to see the report of this model prediction. They need to take decision depending upon their medical approach and their experience. That is how medicine field is going so advanced. Next, nothing else I can explain because I don't know anything. Perimeter, area worst, smooth worst, compactness, concavity. Doctors themselves learned machine learning. They have translated that entire medical imaging into this kind of data representation. Image is converted into different matrices into Excel sheet. So totally it has 33 columns. Let us see that later on. So if I use the next insert below df dot tail, I'm using tail function. So this will give me the last 5 records. We can confirm totally 33 columns are there, 5 rows are given. Totally 10 rows are there, 33 columns are available. Let us see one by one. Next, df.info. This is the next command we should know when you are writing NPTEL exam. No, without info command, you can't answer for a couple of questions during your assignment and coding exercises. What they will ask, no, given the data set, they will ask you to give how many number of integer, how many number of float variable, how many number of the data types, details they will be asking you to fill up. So this info function will give us how many entries are available and what is the data type. Integer, object, float. Object is almost categorical data type. Integer is integer, float is float. It will give the summary report also. See, look at this is how this will be copy pasted for the NPTEL exam questions. Float 31, integer 1, object 1. This is the statistics. So finally, how many variables are there? Finally, how many rows are there? What are all the range or indexes? How many columns are there? It will give almost a summary report. That's all. Now let us see another command. df.get dtypes counts. If I want only data type count alone, these are all the commands I used to do for NPTEL. The same way I'm exploring. These are all explorative data analysis. We need to understand because most of the algorithm, it is mandatory to convert categorical variable into one hot encoding or label encoding. There are several encoding techniques available. Minimum 4 to 5 encoding techniques, I can say. And group by encoding, there are several encoding techniques. So we need to do encoding techniques. It's a essential or mandatory pre-processing operation for most of the algorithms. So that is why we need to work on. And one more hint I forgot to give. If you look at the data, all the independent variables are of numerical. Mars algorithm will work better for numerical data. Theoretically, I studied, never I implemented Mars algorithm. I'm just giving you clue. You can even think of publication on Mars algorithm whenever doing classification for all the independent variable or most of the independent variable becoming numerical data type. So there is a way to build model. So this is one such model. Now let us go to next. I should know any moment you do classification, we all should be aware of whether the data set is imbalanced data set or not. This is a check for imbalanced data set. So we need to check imbalanced data set or not. So this check, what is imbalanced? Highly different variation, 1% or less than 1% to one type of data set, rest all belong to other data set. Look at benign is 357 entry, malignant cancerous tumors are 212. It is not at all imbalanced. More or less proportion is near. What is imbalance is almost, I can say, the proportion would become 95-5 or 99-1. These are all the proportions. Or it can be 99.5, 0.5. Two classes, class labels. Pass or fail, we tell no. We the teacher, imbalanced data set, we would be happy. Otherwise, we need to go for inquiry meeting. Why the results had gone down. So it is like that. So this imbalanced data set. Next is normalized data. It will tell me in percentage, 62 point something, 34 point something. In with respect to percentage. Next, describe. This is another function. This is a kind of 8 summary data sheet. What is this 8 summary is? Count, mean, standard deviation, minimum, 25% interquartile range, 75%, imbalanced data set. I'll tell you for this is part of the theory I will be continuing. I'll be showing you also the coding if time permits only, because it's a ocean, what to tell, what not to tell, I don't know. So here upsampling is one of the technique, downsampling, resampling. There are many more techniques. I'm just showing you what are all the techniques available. Since the question have come, my duty to answer to you, so that I'm giving this answer. There are several techniques available. I'll show in that document also I'm keeping. I'll show in the theory part. Describe will give. So these all gives lot of information. See, if we look at standard deviation is too huge, then mean standard deviation is more, then we need to treat those data. That is the interpretation. Mean and standard deviations are really relative to each other, then it is better. See, if we look at standard deviation is lesser, these all, it is not a problem. When we look at here, standard deviation is too huge, so need to be treated. Normalization need to be done. So whether normalization is required or not, there's a lot of interpretation, a foundation of statistics, that's all. So we can understand where the deviation is more, which quartile, 25 quartile or 50 quartile, 75 quartile. So I will make you to understand this quartile. For example, age is the column I'm based on their smallest to largest, means kids to citizens. I'm arranging senior citizens. I'm arranging. What would happen? 1 year baby also there, 1 month baby also there, 2 years baby also there, 1 day baby also there. Then 89 years old senior citizen, 90 years old senior citizen. Then what will happen? If you look at that, deviation would become more, because senior citizen may live up to 120 years also. I'm having the data, let us imagine. Then the range would become huge difference. So in order to avoid that range, we need to go for normalization. The deviation is caused by where? Only one data, 120 will be 120-year-old person will be sitting in the data, or 1 month baby will be sitting in the data. That leads to lot of deviations. So that can be fixed or identified in which quartile that is happening. If I am arranging baby age to senior citizen age, the deviation would be more with third quartile, 75% quartile. That in which quartile it will be there. So that indication it will give. Next is shape. This shape is a command. I'm not at all going to machine learning. I'm making you to familiar with the commands necessary for understand number of columns and row. Now data pre-processing starts. So there are two different ways to do. This I am not executing, it's a command only I'm giving. Either we can delete the column. Already I mentioned, this is the column. If you notice, look at here, I'll take you to that column, unnamed 32. At the last, it will be there. But if you look at unnamed 32, nothing is available. NAN only available. What I can do with not a number value? So there is no information given. So that is why we need to do exploration. So then ID column, there is no use at all. ID never it will help me for prediction. So that I need to delete those two columns. That deletion is done by drop command, df.drop. What are all the columns I need to delete? I need to mention it in the quotations. Then access equal to 0. What does it mean? Access equal to 1 means it will delete the column. Access equal to 0 means it will delete the row. So that is what we are mentioning. I am interested to delete the column. In place equal to 3. df dot head. That is, now I am deleting it. Just I am ensuring. See, no ID. At the end also, there is no unnamed column. Next is df.eSnull.sum. Our one of the primary role of pre-processing is verification of missing values. The moment we find missing value imputation techniques, that is also another vast topic. Missing value imputation by fixed values, missing value imputation by mean, median, mode, and missing value imputation by algorithms. We can use KNN, random forest. These are all the algorithms will XGBoost, several algorithms will help for missing value imputation. So we can use any, or beyond that you can do some research or suitability for that data you can do, and several imputation techniques. Again, if I touch upon, it would take for half an hour if I talk about missing value minimum. So that I'm just introducing the command df.eSnull.sum. If I do one more command, I'll do here. So it shows 0, no? It has several columns, 33 columns. Total missing value in the data set, sum, that's all. It will give 0. Total missing value, df.eSnull.sum.sum. It should become 0, no? Unnamed. Yeah, because of this unnamed column. Unnamed column has that problem, no? Because of that. After removal, it won't give. 1 minute. I didn't execute this. Yeah, that is a problem. It is removed. Now, if I execute this, it will show 0. 0. Look at this. That command I have written, I didn't execute right in front of you. So that it was showing missing value 569. So that is over. Now, what is the next part is, when we submit to the machine cannot predict diagnosis, or there is another command available. As such, that label itself, it will predict M and B, it is possible. I know the method of doing zeros and ones. If it is two class variable, binary classification, what is the thing is, okay, not related to me. So malignant, benign, wherever in the response variable malignant M is there, I am asking this algorithm to replace by 0, replace by 1. Prediction also will do 0 prediction or 1 prediction. Whenever algorithm gives 0 prediction, that is related to malignant. Whenever algorithm gives 1 prediction, that is related to benign. So that I'm giving this. Next, normalization technique. Already we have seen the standard deviation was too huge for one of the algorithm. So what I'm doing, it is possible. I did this model for the paper submission without normalization. It was not working. Accuracy was becoming very poor. So that I found it is not normally distributed through plots. That is in another notebook. So that it is normalized. The normalization which is used, the technique is called min-max normalization. There are 600 plus normalization technique available. Again, it is another substream. When the data is not normally distributed, most of the model works on the philosophy or the base rule called data should be normally distributed. That is how statisticians think. Distribution is important model. There are 7 famous distributions, 5. Uniform distribution, binomial distribution, normal distribution, exponential distribution, Poisson distribution. These are all the popular distributions. Minimum we should know. So the distribution of the data plays a vital role in the model. What, Rajkumar, you are expecting me to repeat? Difference between 22 and 23. Yeah, 22 will give column wise missing value. This will give in the data set complete missing value. In the entire data set, how many are missing? That's all. That is the indication. This column, look at it, this output itself will speak to you. I no need to explain. See, every column name, how many missing value. Actually, in this data, I am fortunate, no missing value, but you should see this. In the hackathon last week, which I participated, has huge missing value. And I have one more publication also that also has a lot of missing value imputation techniques you should use. When the data is normally distributed, what imputation technique is to be used, and when the data is not normally distributed, which imputation technique to be used. There are a lot of things available. A minute. I don't know. There are people waiting. I request organizing team to take care of that. I thought it is different. Yeah. Let us go back. So now, normalization technique. Log transformation is commonly used. Z-score transformation, quadratic transformation. There are several transformations are there. I'll just give you few tips. Normally, I will go for log transformation. For this one notebook itself, 5 iterations I did. Log transformation, Z transformation, quadratic transformation, and square root transformation, and min-max transformation. Finally, the accuracy was improved for the min-max transformation. Unscientifically, I was approaching because I should understand the distribution of the data. Then what is the pattern it is distributed, how I can bring from that distribution to the normal distribution. I should know the mathematics, science. I don't know. So that I tried all the trial, log transformation, square root transformation, SQRT, and cubic transformation. So many transformation, inverse, there were popular are log transformation and Z-score transformation, and these are all transformation technique. After writing, you will ask what is this transformation technique. I'll share you this notebook because this paper is published, accepted. Presentation is coming Saturday. So this is min-max normalization. So this is one of the normalization worked well for this data, so that I started adapting. Next, diagnosis dot values. What I'm doing, I started splitting. I said now 4 variable X train, Y train, X test, Y test. No, that I supposed to do. For that, first I need to decompose into dependent and independent variable. That is also one of the pre-processing or exploratory data analysis. Given the problem statement and data set, we should be in the position to identify how many dependent variable, how many independent variable we need to treat. Since it is medical data, I don't know. Texture mean how it is useful for cancer prediction. Area mean how it is useful for breast cancer tumor prediction. I don't know anything about it. So that I am going with all the parameter. I'll show you how I am picking the feature selection. How the prominent features are selected. I will tell. Algorithm itself will find out. I no need to have any domain knowledge in this perspective, so that I'm leaving to algorithm. It will select. That also I'll show you. Let us go for, because I wanted to walk through this complete sheet. Please allow me hold on with your questions, because we have only half an hour more. Half of the notebook also I haven't walked through. It has a lengthy notebook. All the boosting, bagging, and stacking. So lot of parameters I have brought in. Allow me to present last 5 minutes. Let us go for question answer, and little bit speed only I'm talking. I understand, but learning will become very less. I'll speak for 5 minutes demonstration. Slowly I will talk. Then how fast it is going, you can understand. So look at now, y equal to df dot diagnosis dot values. I'm taking that malignant benign after replacing by 0 or 1, that column is termed as diagnosis. The diagnosis column alone, I am keeping it in y variable. Next, I am asking to drop DF is data frame. Always I'm talking the data frame that holds the entire data. So that data frame I'm dropping diagnosis, because I have taken a copy no in the y variable, I can delete it. So access equal to 1. Now my x and y variables are ready. Independent and dependent variables are ready, so that what I'm doing, this is the splitting of the data. If you look at splitting of the data from sklearn model selection, this is already given. Once again, it has brought, nothing wrong in it. If you bring also, not bringing also. But I need to train, I need to explain, so that I have brought which package is helping here. Now, what is the advantage of Python is, any function, it will return multiple values. C language will give only one return value. That is the added advantage of Python. So train test split, this is the function I'm using, in which I am passing all my independent variables or only one dependent variable. So it will take care. This is enough for this, or manually also you can do, depending upon the problem statement you should do. See, what should become your X train, what should become X test, what should become your Y train, what should become Y test. You need to decide. If the data is well structured, then we can feed to this model, this function. Test size equal to 0.25. That is splitting. This is called row split. Already I mentioned column split. Row split I didn't mention. Normally the proportion would be 70,30 proportion. Train and test, or 80,20. This is meant for lesser data set. Then the another thing is 75,25. Anything you can use, more or less. Choice is yours. Now this is the data set split. So I'm telling for the testing 0.25, 25% data you feed to test set. I'm telling what available data itself 500 and something only. Among that 500 and data, 25% data, I don't to crack my head and calculate. I just tell to this function 25% you take it for testing, rest 75 donate to training. It is doing. Then random state equal to 2. If I set random state equal to 2, that same notebook, if I give you what is the accuracy I am getting, the same accuracy only you will get. What is the meaning is, the data 500 plus data I'm having, no, among the data, what are all the rows given for training? It won't give like a human, the top 200 row go here, the bottom 100 row go here. Not like that. It will do sampling. It will pull the data randomly, random fashion. For the testing, it will pull the data randomly for the training. So while segregating training and testing data, if I give 0.25, what data has been chosen for me for training and testing data, it will be fixed. Even after 6 months, if I start working also, it will be fixed. You just go through the original Python sklearn.org, you will have all the explanation for this particular function. Every function is a ocean. 500 parameters will be there. 500 ways of working will be there. We learn little thing, with that we need to move ahead. So I'm executing this. Now it is ready. Machine learning model. Now data split is ready. I need to build the model. I am preferring random forest because that is a topic accepted. So now look at here. Now we have come to the core portion of our data science. Yeah, y is equal to, that is what I said, na? Random state equal to 2. That is called random state equal to 2. Just now I said, no, that rows and the number of records segregated for the train and test will become fixed. It is my notebook, no? If it keep changing, say I don't know how to draw in this Google meeting. If it is Zoom, I'll feel more comfortable. Where the tools are available also I'm finding. Okay, let it be. Parameter is used for initializing the internal random number generator, which will decide the splitting and data. Very good. Chandragant, thank you. You have given wonderful explanation. Enough. You please, guys, you please read the chat window. So you have given the explanation. Let us move on. My job is reduced. Random forest classifier. Here we need to spend a lot of time. Please pay your attention, because theory also you didn't permit to talk. You guys started bubbling up. I want coding yesterday. So please pay your attention. Little bit theory I will tell. Then theory we will go back later. Here, since it is forest, n estimator equal to 200. This is called hyperparameter. Understand? I need to tell to the algorithm. I no need to mention any parameter also. If I don't know about hyperparameter, I can just give open bracket. I can delete this all. Simply I can give open bracket, but you will face lot of error depending upon the data set, or it will work by default. It will adjust. That model will become intelligent according to your data set. It will adjust. But if you write specifically, you can defend your paper. After coding, if you copy paste the coding, you can publish the paper. For publication, you need to articulate, you need to write, you need to justify, you need to tell them how the accuracy have come. That is why theory plays a role. You are academician, even you need to teach to students. So that is why theory is important. I meant to say coding, even my students agree, madam, coding, copy paste overnight, I can do the notebook, madam. You teach me the theory. That they used to ask me like that. So look at here, n estimate is equal to 200. I have annotated here number of trees. Please read that also. OBB score, this is called out of bag. If I want to make you to understand out of bag without theory, it is highly impossible. I'm so sorry. If I go back to Word file only, I can make you to understand out of bag. This out of bag is the only method available in, this is one of the method available in random forest by default, called cross validation. I have written here equivalent to cross validation. If you ask me what is cross validation, then that is another 20 minutes theory. So that it is kind of cross validation. I can say this way. See, while cooking, the moment I start adding salt, I can taste. I don't taste at all. I'm telling you, making you to understand. After adding tamarind, I can taste it. After adding chili flavor, I can taste it. So every stage, I can taste my sambar. Whether salt is okay, tamarind is okay, that spiciness is okay. So that is called cross validation. That's all I can say. Finally, at the end, after cooking, I will taste once again. That is called complete overall cross validation. That is overall execution. That overall execution only will happen normally in most of the algorithm if you don't specify cross validation concept. It won't do cross validation on behalf of us. We need to tell. Finally, what is testing? I will offer my food to other persons, guests or my family members. They need to taste and tell me, yes, it is good. So that is called testing. So here cross validation is in the training data itself, few data will be kept aside. Although we commit training data, internally the training data will validate during training itself to avoid overfitting. That is the cleverest part. Yesterday in the theory also I mentioned techniques to avoid overfitting. One of the technique is cross validation. If we go for cross validation, overfitting automatically the model will predict. How it predict is, it will segregate training data itself two different component, training and testing. It will build the model, it will verify. Depending upon that accuracy or loss function, it will change the next iteration. This is how it works. Now, OBB score is out of bag. I will write here. OBB stands for out of bag error. What is out of bag error? Definitely I cannot able to tell right now, because theory I need to go with that only, because drawing is involved. With visual only I can teach. Then lot of keywords